Elden Ring is a game released by From Software in 2022. As soon as the game was released, it immediately gained the title of the most cringe and overrated game in 2022 up till this day today. Anyway, before we start, let me quickly explain one thing. It's not I dislike the open world game. Quite opposite. I play many of them. I like many of them. In fact, most of them that I play. For instance, like I play Spider-Man, Batman, Horizon Zero, GTA, Witcher, Darksiders, and many more. So it's not like I just dislike this genre. I like it. But the problem with Elden Ring is, unlike any of those games that I mentioned, the open world serves no purpose. You see, in games like Horizon Zero, Assassin's Creed, Batman, or Shadow of War, you have open world, but there are actually some activities that you can do in this open world, what makes the world feels of life and actually giving you reason to keep playing it. Elden Ring, however, doesn't have any activity. You won't ever find any collectibles, you won't find any side mission. The only thing what you can find in open world are dungeons and catacombs that you can explore, but the problem with that is they're almost exactly the same. Each one and all of them looks exactly identical, and all loot that is inside of them are just upgrade material for your weapons. So even exploration of this open world feels completely pointless. Most of enemies you will encounter you just skip because they drop in pitiful amount of souls, or just garbage weapon which you will never use. So there is nothing really what makes you explore this world, and after playing hour or two, when you actually realize that, you're just gonna run past through everything and just rush to the main bosses. I will talk about them a little bit later, and I think we all know why. The second reason why this game is like not perfect and quite mid is because this game is barely unique. In fact, I would risk and say this game is the most unoriginal game I've seen in 2022. This honestly feels like a Dark Souls 3 expansion pack, like very overpriced DLC or something like that. It doesn't feel like unique game because, it has open world, but reason number one why I think the Elden Ring is a disappointing. And also the combat, the way how you play, your moves that you can do are exactly the same, taken just straight up from Dark Souls 3. Even the new mechanic implemented, like the guard counter and jumping, they are not really new. I mean, like, you really want to tell me you couldn't fucking have a fun in Dark Souls or Demon Souls or in Bloodborne without jumping? And the guard counters are literally just sparring and the counter attack from Sekiro, except with dumbed down mechanic because you no longer have to time it. So it's not like it's really unique, it's just pretty much inspired of previous game, which is not high achievement to earn really, when you take an idea from your previous game constantly, when you're reusing assets from your previous game, it's just showing how lazy you are. So sorry if Elden Ring fanboys getting offended by this, but oh well, it is what it is. And the next reason why I think this game is mediocre is because even if open world is without any activities, it would actually be good, if they would actually execute it well, if they would design it so anything what you can find would be interested to look at. For instance, in Horizon Zero, you don't even have to do anything. You have amazing dinosaurs, like the robots, and the things like that. Like you don't even really need to do an activity. You can just wandering around and fight with the giant cool enemies, you know? But Elden Ring doesn't have any of that. Literally, the all enemies in this game you can just skip, like I said. But there is other omnipresent issue with this. You see, the Elden Ring, what Elden Ring is going with is how it tries to handhold you by pointing out constantly how to play, where to go, and just by simply spoon feeding you with shit, you know, with shitty gimmicks that completely breaks the experience. Any Souls fan will tell you this is the easiest From Software game from all, because the difficulty in this game doesn't fucking exist. That there is no difficulty level, but it feels like it should be. Because the game is so incredibly easy, it is almost a shame to call it a Souls game. Because it lacks basic Souls feature which previous game had. For instance, repercussion where you die. For instance, losing something, you know, so motivation to get good. And things like that. Like for instance in Dark Souls, when you die, you losing your humanity, so you no longer have access to the online feature and you cannot be longer invaded. In Dark Souls 2, when you die, you losing 10% HP for each death. In Dark Souls 3, when you die, you losing Ember, which is free 300 HP boost. And in Demon Souls, when you die, you have Dark World Tendency, which I'm not really sure how it works because I didn't play that game yet, but I know it makes the game harder as penalty for failing. And in Sekiro, when you die, you're losing half of your sen and gold and you cannot get it back, so you have pretty much motivation to get better. But more importantly, you know, than losing HP or your experience, is you losing time. Time that getting you to get to the certain point where you die. And in Elden Ring, you losing literally nothing. Sure, you're losing your runes, but you usually have like so many of them because, you know, right at the beginning of game you probably grind to trivialize everything. You're not ever losing your time by dying because game is filled with checkpoints, like someone fucking asked about it. And also you have no penalty for dying. You have access to online all the time, even if you die. You're not losing your max HP when you die. So what's the point even fucking making Souls if you not penalize player for playing bad? None, in my personal opinion, because what makes Souls game unique and different than the rest of the game is not how hard they are, but how uniquely they penalize you when you cannot get good, you know? And Elden Ring never does that. Elden Ring never forces you to get good. Elden Ring doesn't learn you how to play. Like I promise you, the 99% people who ever finish this game, they do not even know how to play. And that is not insult, that is just reality, you know? Because literally 99% of them cannot even kill the grafted Scion at the beginning. And what does that tell you? If you finish the Souls game, you know, you bragging like you are good and you cannot even kill the first boss that you encounter, you know, without dying billion times, what does that tell you? Tell me. And I think to not make this video incredibly long, we're gonna quickly, you know, talk about the biggest issue this game has. There already been many videos about this, but I just have to put it in this one as well. And this, you probably know what I wanna talk about, the bosses. They feel so incredibly fucking cheap. Like I cannot describe how bad they are. I would even risk and say those are the worst bosses that I've seen since decade. Almost all of them reads your input. Half of them have attack that you literally cannot dodge, like Elden Beast has Elden Stars, Mog has his stupid Nihil ritual, and so on and so on. Those attacks are literally undodgeable and it's force damage. It's not even a Souls game, it just pretty much feels like a silly joke, you know? It's not like you playing the game, it feels like the game's playing you, you know? And whenever boss decide to do something cheap, you always getting hit by it because it is designed to be that way. It doesn't feel fair, it feels just cheap. And before anyone will tell me, oh, but this game is not hard, you know, you can use the summons, you can use the OP weapon art to kill them quickly. Yes, but I would rather have bosses like in Sekiro, you know, bosses which actually, you know, have decent health bar, they doing decent damage, you know, so you have to learn their moveset to survive. I don't wanna fucking fight with bosses which dying in fucking 2 hits, you know. Because that's not fun. If I wanna fucking do the shit like that, I'm just gonna play the Minecraft or some fucking kids game. So yeah, the conclusion for all this is Elden Ring is an average game, average video game. It is a very mediocre open world game. And it's terrible Souls game. It lacks of features that other open world game have. It lacks of features that other Souls game have. And it lacks of pretty much everything. You can clearly see that the Miyazaki and his team didn't had idea for this game. He just used whatever he could from previous game, you know, like that's why we have amazing fights, you know, amazing bosses like Valiant Gargoyles, which are just pretty much ripoff of Belfry Gargoyles from Dark Souls. We have the fight like the Godskin Duo, which are just ripoff of Orsin and Smaug from Dark Souls 1. So yeah, they just didn't had idea for the game and it's clear to me. And with that, well, I guess there is not much to be said. Maybe DLC is gonna be once again just like with Dark Souls 2, you know, the saving grace, but I don't see this because this game is definitely way less entertaining and fun to play than Dark Souls or Demon Souls, and Bloodborne is still the best game from all. I guess as last thing I can quickly say they expect you're gonna be paying $60 for that, which is quite insulting because you know, for an original game that features countless amount of bugs and a lot of technical issue, which I didn't spoken, you know, which I didn't talk before, but I can say like the smartest idea From Software could ever fucking did with this game is implementing easy anti-cheat, even if everyone fucking told them it is a big mistake because it will just make everything worse. But they don't listen because they don't care. All they care is money, so yeah. This is Elden Ring is example of game what happens where the overambitious developer cares more about money than about actually game quality and what people say. And with that, I think I'm done. Don't expect any more content from this game because I have no intention and plans to play it anytime in the future. Unless the DLC gonna be like top tier, and I mean actual top tier. Not top tier rating, you know, not like the fucking original game, you know. So yeah, unless the DLC gonna be crazy good, I'm not playing this game ever again. So see you. Thank you for listening this. You might agree, you might disagree. If you are Elden Ring fanboys, you most likely disagree. But if you are, you know, Souls veteran with the right mind, you might agree with what I said. So have a nice day and see you next time. Take care.